Hello, everybody. I'm Kanard Lewis, and this right here is our fourth interview for season 11 for TKW videos, folks. And who do we have here? What is your name?
My name is Kanard.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Again, as you guys already know, breaking down the barriers, understanding who we are as people, so that we can get closer in here, so we can unite. So, before we get started with the deeper questions, Anna, just give me a little, breakdown who you are as a person. Name, major, year, age, stuff like that. Just like generic stuff.
Okay, so my full name is Kanard, but here I go by Anna.
Okay.
I was born in New York City, but I was raised in Port-au-Prince, Haiti.
Oh.
I am a freshman here at Fredonia, and I'm looking to go study video and film production with a minor in business administration.
Okay. Why do video? Why not do radio? What's so amazing about video production?
Well, as a kid, I struggled a lot with communication, verbal communication, and I found a real passion behind the camera. Photography and videography have been my means of expressing myself, so that's why I'm so attached to video production stuff and photography. Yeah,
and you talk about that communication barrier. Was it more in terms of the accent, or just a different language, or just you may have had a speech impediment? What was going on there?
It was nothing like that. It was more, I was afraid to voice my opinion in fear of being wrong and being judged.
And has that ever changed, or does it still appear now?
I think it's changed. In middle school, I was more introverted in the sense that I didn't really speak my opinions out loud. When I got to high school, I knew it had to change because I couldn't be myself if I kept those in. So I think that it's definitely improved, and I can speak more.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. We talk about being wrong and fearing, I guess, being wrong in front of people, but you say that high school was that kind of switch where you kind of decided that you needed to speak more, but as you were keeping yourself silent, was there any like anxiety building up, or just kind of regret that you knew what you wanted to say, but you just didn't say it because of that fear?
I think definitely. I think that being silent for so many years, just kind of, I couldn't find myself. And so when people asked me who I was, I would just didn't have much of a definition to describe who I was. And I had a lot to say, yeah, like you said, but I didn't know how to say it, and I didn't want to say it in fear that I would be judged. When I got to high school, I was like, no, I want to be who I am. I want people to see, and I want to speak out, because some things people say are wrong, and I need to fight against that. So.
And how was it being wrong when you actually were wrong? How did you deal with that? Because obviously, we have even me. There was a moment where, like even now, still about fearing speaking because of the stutter. You don't want to stutter, but you do it anyway, and you don't want to speak. But at the same time, if you keep your silence, like I've always said about our voice, then we don't, give ourselves, the opportunity to speak our minds. But, how did you deal with being wrong when you were wrong, or how did you deal with the failure?
Well, at first, it was definitely very embarrassing. When I was wrong, I would kind of just, go back into my hole and just, I don't know, I never admitted to being wrong. But I think over the years, being wrong just means there's an opportunity to learn more. So
Exactly.
I think recently I've just accepted that you can't know everything.
No, that's very true. And going to the fact that you were born in the city, but raised in Haiti, how was that experience? You talk about living in a different country, different environment,
Mm-hmm.
third world country.
Yeah.
It'd be that, Haitian Revolution. There's definitely history in that country, just like there's any history in any other country. But to live there, how was that environment?
So after I was born here, I didn't really spend much time in New York. So I don't know much about growing up American. Growing up in Haiti, it definitely opens your eyes. Not as a young person, because as a young person you're just trying to live life as a normal kid.
Yeah.
But when you open your eyes, you really see that. I'm gonna say, when I was younger, or when I was in middle school, I always told people, oh, I want to go help in Africa. The basic thing that everybody wants to go do. But then I started looking around me, and I was like, well, why do I want to go abroad when I can start here where people need help? So I think Haiti opened my eyes to just seeing life as people are given opportunities to be better people. And I love growing up in Haiti because in that culture, people are very focused on groups and working together.
The unity and family.
Yeah. So even though it's a third world country, I always say I love where I grew up, because it opened my eyes to see the world and how beautiful it is. Because in individualistic America, you don't get to see community.
That's true. So how did that family aspect help you become a better woman or a better person? Because you had your family in your life. So how did that benefit you in such a vast way?
That's a tough question.
Well, I guess a better way to word it would be more in terms of what did your parents give you in terms of support or in terms of guidance that if they weren't in your life, you wouldn't be the person. You do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like again, I didn't have my dad, so there's some things that I didn't gain. But again, if my mom wasn't in my life, then she would have never gave me the tools of cooking or doing laundry or worrying about myself. I would have never been in the schools that I've been in without my mom putting me in these schools. So I guess just reflecting on that idea, what did your mom give you? What did your dad give you in Haiti or just in life in general?
Okay, so I did grow up with both parents. I think what my mom taught me as a woman in a world where it's very patriarchal, you need to work hard, and you need to show people that you don't need to be male to succeed. I think my mom has shown me that hard work pays off, and if you work really, really hard for whatever in life, you can get far. She's been with the embassy for 14 years now, and
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, she didn't start off big, but now there's a lot of people who she knows because of her hard work. So I think that's what my mom taught me. It's to be a very strong, independent woman in a world where you're told that women aren't as great as men.
Yeah, and even adding on to that, what do you think about that, the economy, or where you have two forces? There's so much oppression being put on women to look good, but you can't be too sexual, you can't be too quiet. It's like you have to take the back seat to certain opportunities. You're working less on the dollar compared to a guy. So how does that motivate you to be behind the scenes? Because even in any field, especially film and in production and directing, there isn't that many women in that field.
Yeah.
So how does that, I wouldn't say scare you, but how does that give you the ability or the mindset to think that just because it's this doesn't mean I had to make that a reality?
Well, living in this kind of culture definitely pisses me off. I get super mad when I think about it, and sometimes I try to suppress it, which isn't the answer.
So you ever discuss it more? Like you ever like, you suppress it, but that's again that hiding that voice a little bit. So where are moments where you allowed yourself to speak this anger? Because anger is real. Obama talked about it in his more perfect union speech in 2008, where he was like discussing the fact that anger in the black community is real. You can't hide it and throw it under the rug. So how did you let it go, or are you still keeping it in?
I think that my anger is mostly suppressed unless I feel comfortable, which is rare. There's reason to be angry as a first woman and second a woman of color. It just the motivation I get is to prove people wrong.
Yeah.
I think that's why I started speaking in the first place. Is to prove people wrong. That's how I express my anger. It's never anger as in yelling or whatever. It's just anger in the sense that I need to prove myself even harder. So I think that when I get to finish college and in my community, I'm going to work hard so I could be a renowned female video production.
That's I think very, very, very important. It's the fact that I feel like women and even you're expressing yourself that they have to again work twice as hard, 3 times as hard to make the same kind of pay as a male. But imagine you have an intersection here. You're Haitian, you're a woman of color, so you're a woman, but also Haitian. Mm-hmm. Now you're part of 2 marginalized groups. How do you how has that changed you? Because you're Haitian, but you're a woman. That's not to say that that's bad, but in terms of the world, that's not very accepted. It's like you're deemed part of the wrong group, and really you're just you.
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna be honest. When I grew up in Haiti, I never fully identified myself as Haitian.
Really, why is that?
Because of the stigma behind being a Haitian person.
So what did you identify as?
Well, I'm American.
So, okay.
I'm an American citizen.
Haitian American, yeah.
Yeah, so whenever people asked me, I would always say, oh, I'm American, leave back the Haitian. Because it was frightening being judged. That's a big fear that I have, being judged.
No, I think it's very natural. We all feel it, and I think you're expressing it is just one step to acknowledging the truth that we all have.
Yeah.
You being afraid or you being judged doesn't make you any less of a person. It just means that you're human. Last interview, again, it was stated the fact that it's like you hide away from your culture a little bit, mm-hmm. but then you come back to it.
Yeah.
It's such a scary thing because some people are more passing than others. Some people don't want to represent their own culture, but you experience that. Like, do you feel that you regretted that aspect of your life where you didn't accept it? It was almost like you were telling yourself a lie, kind of like the voice thing where you weren't being yourself enough?
I don't think it was. I don't think I was ever lying, but I do kind of regret it. When I came to Fredonia and I saw how much internationalism is it's cool in a sense.
Mm.
I was more, I'm Haitian. I was more proud of where I came from. One of my friends who currently goes to American University, he puts a lot of light on Haiti and the positives, and it's inspired me to just be proud of where I'm from. So I think that I do regret it, but I wouldn't change it because I think that's helped me become who I am today.
And in your career, do you feel that you're gonna be one of the directors or the producers that produce kind of these socially, contorted problems or constructed ideas about, race and gender? Because you have a story. You have a past. You have history. Do you feel like you will transfer that to film, get actors, get the sets, all of that, or will you just focus on more of the action or just sci-fi stuff? Or what are your plans with the type of genre that you want to produce?
Well, I don't usually think that far ahead. I don't know. I don't know if that's what I want to focus on, really. Not that I'm ashamed of my culture anymore, but I think that that's not. I don't know yet.
That's all right. I guess in due time. But what would you tell the people that are from Haiti or that are afraid to speak up? What kind of advice would you give them to speak their minds a little bit more, to not be afraid to identify with their own culture?
I think the advice I would give is, you don't be afraid of where you're from. It's because Haiti is beautiful. People don't see that. What they portray in the media is the earthquakes, the crime rates, the cholera, and all that stuff. People don't see the beauty in Haiti, and I think that when us Haitians come to America, we are, in a sense, a piece of that beauty that we get to display. I never thought of myself as a representative of my country, but now that I'm here and I get to represent it, I think that I am, in a sense, when people want to look at Haiti, they can look at me and see that there is beauty in Haiti.
There is.
Not appearance-wise or anything, just
like the
knowledge.
natural culture. Yeah.
And I think that any Haitian who feels that they don't want to say these things shouldn't be afraid of them anymore, because I think that the way that the world is seeing Haiti is changing, because Haiti is changing for the better.
Well, thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. And you heard it here best from her about acknowledging the beauty in the various cultures. Speaking up. I know what it's like to be afraid to do that, and I know what it's like to not know what your culture is about because you're not exposed to it. But if you do what Anna says, or just do what life is about and just express yourself to the fullest extent, to the true self, then you actually be a little more happy. But that's it for us. Thank you, and I'll see you next week.